Cole Beasley is in the pandemic protocol, and he is not happy about it. He said this when asked about it, quote, "Just to be clear, COVID is not keeping me out of this game. The rules are." Beasley went on to state that Vax players are playing with COVID every week now because they don't test. One of my Vax teammates is in the hospital missing games. I'm sure he didn't get this same energy. Thank you for those who support everyone else. If you don't get what's happening, then there's nothing anybody can do for you. Cole Beasley, of course, has been a pretty one of the first like big names that really came out against the NFL's protocol and the way that it was laid out, because it almost in the idea of Cole Beasley and Aaron Rodgers and others, it almost forced players to get vaccinated and whatnot. And Cole Beasley's obviously not happy. Cole Beasley is not happy. He was very unhappy to begin the season. Remember, he wrote a diss track about COVID. He wrote a diss track about COVID and the vaccine, which, if you haven't listened to it, it's one of the weirdest things ever. But all that aside, he comes back and he says this, and the question now becomes, what do we think of his assertion that Vax players are playing with COVID? I mean, it's true to an extent. Are there players who are vaccinated? Are there players in general who have COVID and could probably play? Yeah, it's possible, because you have things like false negatives. You have things like the disease being undetectable up until a certain point. You have things like the disease not being around in your body to the point where it can spread, to the point where we can detect it until it's there, until it's developed at that point. So those are things that happen. And I didn't hear Cole Beasley say any of that. He kind of just said what he wanted to say to, control his own narrative, as EC3 would say. But he said that, and all I can say to that is Cole Beasley sounds a little sour, and I get why. He had the option to, get the shot and, be able to eventually, I think the rule in the NFL is if you test negative before a game and you've been vaccinated, and even if you test positive before, you are going to be able to play. But now he's going to be out for 10 days. He's going to miss games. He's going to miss a crucial game that could decide the playoff implications for the Buffalo Bills, who are now a wild card team, who they need some help to even get a wild card. They need help to even get into that wild card position, because like they would need the Patriots to lose a few games and then to win out in order for the Bills to take the division. And the AFC Wild Card, we know, is just absolutely loaded. There's so many great teams in the AFC. So I get why he's mad, because and it's one of those things where he feels like the rules are letting his team down when, you could make the argument that he's letting his team down. You could make the argument that of a lot of things, but I think that there have been a lot of players who've gone on record and said that at the end of the day, it is a personal choice, but it's also, to an extent, a choice of how much are you willing to sacrifice your own beliefs for the sake of the team. And I think we're finding that out with a lot of players. We're finding that out in the NBA as well. Andrew Wiggins was someone who was very hesitant about getting the shot, and then he ended up getting it. And, that was a situation where, he probably would not have been able to play at home games, much like we're just seeing with Kyrie Irving. By the way, we'll talk about Kyrie Irving later. But he was able to put those to the side for the sake of the team. And I'm not saying that's what Cole Beasley should have done. I'm not saying that's what he should do. I'm not saying that's what anyone should do. No one should do anything they don't want to do. That's the thing. I've always been very clear about this. You should, if you don't want to do something, that's fine. But given the current state of things and how they are, don't be mad if that leads to you having to deal with things down the line. Don't be mad if that has to do with you being excluded from things, because logically and according to science, you are a likely reason. If you get COVID, if you're exposed to COVID, you're going to be more exposed to it, I should say, and you're also going to help spread it. That's just the truth. And that's not saying, I know there's going to be so many people who are going to takes out of context. Like, oh, he said unvaccinated people can't spread COVID. Of course they can. Of course they can. But the overall symptoms, the overall hospitalization rate and all that is going to be lower for if you're vaccinated, and you're going to be able to deal with it better, both in and on and off the field. So it would be easy for me to push my own beliefs, as people want to say. Oh my God, absolutely love to. People absolutely love to do that. Like, no, I'm not pushing my own beliefs on Cole Beasley. He can do what he wants. One thing I will push my own beliefs on is he should never, ever, ever release another rap album, another rap track. I don't care. I don't care whether it's about COVID. I don't care whether it's about the team. I don't care whether it's about fucking like tennis balls. No. Cole Beasley should never rap. That track was trash. It was a diss trash. You were trash on that track, my G. You were not good. It's absolutely horrible. This guy thinks that, like, no, you made Le'Veon Bell sound like a real rapper. Do you know what that means? Like, come on, dude. Cole Beasley, really great player. I want to really get that home. Cole Beasley is a great wide receiver. I think he's like one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL. As for the routes he can run and what he can do for your team, he's just not a good rapper. It is like, it's bad. It's like, I would go listen to it. Go listen to that COVID diss track he released. But it was so bad, people. It was so bad. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.